What's going on, everybody? This is an episode from the No Gimmicks Needed Wrestling podcast. Do you like podcasts and you want to see the full podcast? Make sure you check out the No Gimmicks Needed Wrestling podcast on all your podcast platforms, such as Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, among many others. But you're listening to the episode right here on YouTube, so make sure you hit that like button and below, and make sure you hit the subscribe button to NC Studios and NC Level Up for all your gaming needs. This is the Nerd Coalition. Enjoy the show. Let's go right into this podcast. Let's go right into breaking news, y'all. Breaking news. CM Punk at this shit again. But you know what? Is it really all CM Punk's fault? Maybe. But we don't know that because so AEW did a press conference after All Out last night on Sunday when they did that. And somebody happened to ask CM Punk a question about Colt Cabana.
Literally the first question.
Yeah, first question. So it's like something triggered inside CM Punk. And I'm trying to pull the transcript to see what he exactly said, which obviously they don't have up anymore, so I can't find it. I should have got it earlier. But he was saying things along the line. I gotta find the transcripts. I'm sorry. I gotta make.
He was basically. Jeez. Basically,
you look it up why I pull it up.
He was just like, I have not been friends with Scott Goldman or Coltman or whatever his name is. I have not been friends with him since at least 2014, and it doesn't matter who I choose to be friends with and who I don't choose to be friends with. And then he was like, the fact that I got to say this is embarrassing. I don't care where he works. I don't care where he sleeps. I don't care where he eats. I don't care where he uses the bath. I don't care about nothing. So please. I was like, dang, okay. And then he went on from that to a rant about the Bucks and Kenny and Hangman all in the same sentence. So,
yes,
yeah,
because he after the whole Colt Cabana thing, the man was obviously pissed off, and then now so he's like, you know what? Usually when people are angry, they're like, since I'm pissed off, I'm going to add some more shit to the fire that y'all need to fucking hear. Basically, so he called out because he called out the EPs. Which obviously are...
The funniest line is they call themselves the EVPs, yet they can't even manage a target. I was like, oof.
Yeah, oh yeah, that he did say that. He did say that. He talked about them. They can't manage a target, and if anybody got a fucking problem about, he said, and they spread lies and bullshit. This is gonna be explicit. Bullshit, and put into the media that I got somebody fired when I have fucked all to do with him. Want nothing to do with him. Do not care where he works and all that stuff that you just said. And he said 2022 is embarrassing because he believes that they was one that spread lies about him getting Colt Cabana fired, which Colt Cabana never got fired. Colt Cabana did get moved to Ring of Honor. However, even though CM Punk is the higher star, and if he felt uncomfortable with Colt Cabana backstage, Tony Khan is going to move Colt Cabana out the Dark Order and move him down. And
yeah, but he didn't say Tony was like, nah, that wasn't even about Punk. He was just it's like a coach for Ring of Honor.
Okay. And okay, so then along with saying that, he comes out of nowhere and says, what did I ever do to this world to deserve an empty-headed fucking dumb fuck like Hangman Adam Page to go on national television and fucking go into business for himself? What did I ever do? Didn't do a goddamn thing. And I was just like, where'd that come from? And I was just like, you know what? Whoever that person or that fan was there to deliberately stir the shit. And then he also said it's not Tony Khan's position to make it very fucking clear. There's people who call themselves EVPs that should have fucking known better. And also hinting at them being friends. What was it? Kenny Omega and the Bucks being friends with good friends with Adam Page and everything like that. So it's kind of like how I say with WCW, how the boys are going into business for themselves, in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And then he also come back. I had pulled the transcripts. He was saying, "I'm trying to run a fucking business, and when somebody who hasn't done a damn thing in this business jeopardizes the first $1 million house that this company has ever drawn off my back and goes on national television and does that, it's a disgrace to this industry and it's a disgrace to this company. I think that is the quote right there where everybody start calling him Hogan. I think that right there is the quote where everybody really like start calling him, CM Hogan or Hulk Punk.
Modern day Hogan, man.
Modern day Hogan. He said, "We're far beyond apologies. I gave him a fucking chance. It did not get handled, and you saw what I had to do, which is very regrettable, lowering myself to his fucking level. But that's where we are right now." And I'm just like, Punk, what the? And he said, "And I will still walk up and down this hallway and say, if you have a fucking problem with me, take it up with me. Let's fucking go." Well, somebody had a problem with it. And guess what? They met him in the hallway. It was definitely the Young Bucks and Kenny. So apparently, when CM Punk was off the stage, there was some security guard that rushed by, and nobody probably knew why. But apparently, what happened was they confronted CM Punk about the stuff he said, and CM Punk apparently, like I said, allegedly took a swing.
Now, before you go into this story, I'm just gonna say,
okay.
It's 3, almost 4 of them, if you want to include Hangman.
Yeah.
Trying to gang up on CM Punk. All I'm saying is, hey, if it's 4 people trying to gang up on me, I'm swinging too. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, you know what? Before we go deeper into the story, let's just talk about how do we feel about his comments, though. Like, is he right in what he say? Okay, let's go. Let's just be honest here.
Go ahead.
I will say he is very out of line for doing this at a media scrum, especially right in front of Tony Khan, because like Tony Khan can't comment on it, but Tony Khan's making faces while you were calling your EVPs or your employees like pricks and stuff like that. It's like that's just putting Tony Khan in a more uncomfortable position. Yeah,
yeah.
Because that's like just hear me out here. What if he was to say the N-word? Just if he was to say that, right? Tony Khan was just sitting there like, okay, yeah, okay. Like just sitting there. He calling these people all these kind of names and Tony Khan just sitting there. And it's kind of like, he can't really agree or disagree necessarily because it's like, you want to be professional, but yet CM Punk is not the one being professional. So it's like, hard to do.
But, okay, now, let me go to Q first, but then I go to my...
Prom took the words right out of my mouth. He put his boss in a very weird predicament. Because it's like, oh, damn it, what do I say now? Like, or what do I do? You know what I'm saying? And you even if it was like, even if he had a justifiable reason to say that, you don't do that in the public, bro. You don't do that in the public. And then it's just like, bro, you making what Triple H said come like even more powerful every time, man. Okay,
so here's what I say, because what both y'all said is I agree with you. That's very unprofessional. And especially when you do that to Tony Khan. But see, this is also the problem. I've heard a lot of times, I heard you too and anybody else saying that they put Tony Khan in a uncomfortable situation, right? Let me ask y'all this. Would Vince ever be in that situation?
Hell.
Well, Vince don't do press conferences like that.
Hell.
No, but even still, Vince
ain't
gonna be in that position. Shane's not gonna be in that position. Stephanie's not gonna be in that position. Triple H is not gonna be in that position. And
all I'm gonna say is they just started doing press conferences. So
but you still don't see them out there with the stars, though. Is what he's trying to say. Triple H was out there.
No,
yeah, but that's Triple H though. Like we talking, like you ain't gonna see Vince McMahon up in this like.
Well, no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they initiate who the fuck they are. Like in the round table discussion, back when they used to have those old wrestling round table shows, that was when they had the W24/7 on demand.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Ross said, despite anybody from Vince Russo to Bruce Pritchard to Jim Cornette to Michael Hayes, no matter what anybody is telling anybody in the background, there's one warded. And that guy is Vince McMahon. Don't nothing go past on television without going through him first, we know that he is the boss. He's not trying to be your damn friend. He's not out here being a fucking mark. He's out here, because we wrestle marks because we wrestling fans. Vince McMahon is the boss. That's it. No matter what happens, he is the boss. So in other words, he has established that line of communication at the beginning when you first get hired. That's what everybody was saying when they first meet Vince. Maybe he could be intimidating, this like that, and yeah, they can have a good relationship with him. But if Vince can, he will tell Stone Cold no, he will tell Dwayne no, he will tell Cena no, and Undertaker no, because he's done it before, because he's the boss. Tony Khan, on the other hand, is so happy because he's a wrestling fan. There's nothing wrong with being a wrestling fan, but he's just so happy to the point that I'm happy that I got all these players over AEW. We have a big successful AEW show, to the point where half them people at AEW probably look at Tony Khan as a substitute t-shirt, as opposed instead of the boss. He does not come off as having the backbone of a boss, because if he did, and if Tony Khan was at, have any kind of authority figure in there, or not trying to make friends backstage, this would not have happened. Because here's the thing, Eddie Kingston got suspended for less. He just barely touched Sammy Guevara backstage, and he got him 2 weeks. So that means to tell me this, now you got your EVPs and your champion backstage fighting. What's the consequences for that? Now, obviously, he's not going to fire CM Punk. He's not going to fire
I would suspend them and strip the championships.
Yeah, I agree. But is he looking at it as a boss or a fan? Because Vince is like, I don't give a fuck. I will strip the title and do Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns for the 600th time. I don't care. He don't give a fuck about how we feel. Tony Khan, I think, is very invested on how we feel. Because the man come on busting open every week. He obviously is reading on social media, reading what the IWC is saying, and he's obviously reacting off of that. And to be real with you, if you're going to be a boss and you're going to have control of your own house, you can't be reacting off of all that. We all have opinions, we're wrestling fans, but all of us are not right. We're not in that. At the end of the day, we're not in that business. I'm not in that business. Q-Flow's not in that business. Primetime's not in that business. We do different things. I'm saying we got opinion. We watched it for a long time to be, educated about the business. But I'm just saying, but we're not in that business. He has to get that house in order, because that whole thing just made AEW look terrible. And now I would say, like I say, he's making him look uncomfortable. First of all, Tony Khan didn't come off looking like a boss. I'm not sitting there talking about something like Thug Life Boss. I'm talking about something, tap CM Punk. Be like this, all right, look, let me grab the microphone, like, cut, bro. You got to go. Mm-hmm. All this stuff you're saying right now is out of line. You got to go. Shut the fuck up and get out of here. It's a press conference. There's a press conference. You got to know when to take control of your house. They work for you. You don't work for them. Okay, and that's one of the things that is like, okay, that has been kind of bothering me about Tony Khan. I love AEW. I'm excited for the game. I'm excited for I like the figures that come out with it. I like the product minus Rampage. But I'm just saying, but they done some good stuff. But there's some of the things that Big Swole was alluding to about how loose it was backstage. You gotta have some type of tightness in something, because everybody can't be the good guy. For example, I remember when this channel first started, I was too busy trying to be friends with everybody opposed to operating my channel. And sometimes you're going to have to just be what they may think is an asshole. But you got to be the boss. There's too many problems going on, and too many slight jabs, and too many fighting, and everybody saying what the fuck they want to say. Even when Chris Jericho was like, I need the locker room to tone it down. There are things I learned from Vince. And one thing is, we all look at, including myself, we all look at, we were trash WWE, especially in that Vince era. I ain't never come at Vince as a businessman or as a boss. His creative is gone beyond his years. And I've said that, and I still say it to this day. But you knew who the boss was. when it comes to whether he's lying or not, you're not going to have that unprofessional conduct on his show. Period. Titus O'Neil almost got fired for holding Vince back to let his daughter go first because they saw that shit on TV. Vince don't play that shit. And when Jericho's like, look, it's okay to be an alternative, but y'all want to be to the alternative so bad, it's almost like Impact Wrestling is in some of the early years when it was basically fuck WWE every night. I'm just like, y'all, let it go, do your thing. Prime, I know you remember every time a Berto Del dipshit, as people been calling him, came out every night talking about something. It's time to talk about WWE, and I'm just like, really? Really?
He's
Like,
still talking about them to this day. He trying to campaign. He trying to campaign to be in the Hall of Fame.
This man has lost his fucking mind. He came out to talk about the big nose, talk about Triple H. I'm like, yo, shut up, because all that does is draw a certain minority audience, and that is the audience that just hates WWE and they want to see them burn to the ground. The wrestling fan, the actual wrestling fan, enjoys what's going on because it's a good time to be a wrestling fan again because there's competition out there, and that's what makes it good. But like them smarks or somebody like that out there that just want to see WWE burn to the ground, that's the ones you're attracting. And when you attract them, you start taking stuff away, and you don't want to do that. And you don't want everybody come out there. Now, look, even TBS is like, y'all may have to kind of calm down on this cursing because every promo got shit. Like the bull Steel from CM Punk just said fuck the other day on Dynamite. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on?
I think that was an accident.
Whether it's still, whether or not, I'm like, bro, you got to get it because every promo got shit in it now. It seemed like, really, I'm just like, you gotta be the alternative and be in a better way. John Moxley don't need to be bleeding in every fucking match. You know what I'm saying? I guess a trademark game, but I'm just like, but I get it. WWE doesn't do blood, y'all do. I get it. But every match, even on Rampage, you don't need to be doing that. But if you say it for a special event, it makes it more prominent because that's what's happening. And I think Tony Khan is getting so caught up in wanting to be the alternative of WWE, but he wants to be the alternative extreme version of that. And on top of that, like the EPs, I'm just sitting there like, okay, how did I feel when they had Cody and the Young Bucks and Kenny? I mean, because they used their money to get this company started. I get that. But in your personal opinion, Prime, I would say you did because you watch wrestling longer. Do you think that was a right move to even put them as EPs? Or should you have gotten somebody like, because look, Triple H has his guys. And I'm not even talking about the Vince guys, but Triple H has his guys from Matt Bloom to Norman Smiley to Road Dogg to Shawn Michaels. These people have been in the business, performed at the highest level, and retired. Even Sky Too Hottie, before he left. A lot of other people that he has brought into his circle to help train and to get these superstars where they need to be at. And same thing like that. Even backstage on Raw and SmackDown, like obviously they don't like Bruce Pritchard, but he's only gonna be around for a little bit. They got rid of Jeff Jarrett, got Road Dogg up in there, and then they're gonna get their own people up in there. But these are people that have studied that job because they've been retired. They're not still actively wrestling. You got EPs that's still actively wrestling. So it's like what is your opinion about that?
So I think the only reason why they were EPs in the first place is because maybe Tony Khan wanted to. Let's be completely honest. When it started out, it was their company. Tony Khan was just the money backer. So technically, at the first point, it wasn't. It was just there. It was just the Bucks, Kenny, and Hangman. And Cody. Sorry. That was running it, and Tony Khan was just the money because obviously with All Out, everything that they were doing, they were popular from BTE. They built a whole pay-per-view just from BTE. So I felt like maybe Tony Khan said, if I do this, y'all got to be a part of it. But um, looking at it now, obviously they're active competitors. I would have like went after other people, you know.
Yeah, I
That's
agree
just
with you.
because like I understand why why they were EVPs at that time, especially at that time. I can understand, but now I feel like they should get more people. Like if I'm being, I would put like maybe since he doesn't really wrestle, I'll put like Dustin as an EVP. Uh, I would try to get somebody like Booker, or somebody that's not gonna take no nonsense as an EVP. I would try to get other people like that as an EVP.
Or even
But
Mark Henry and Paul White. Like y'all, you have them there, but what are they doing?
like because obviously, like I said in the beginning, I can understand why those four were MVPs. So they were just so important to the wrestling business at that time.
Yes.
But now I think that it should change. Like it should have changed when there was the reports that they lost their EVP title.
Yeah.
I think it should have changed then, and then they should have just appointed like newer people as EVPs, just to still have EVPs but not have them be active wrestlers.
Yeah. Well said, Prime. Actually, well said, because and I only asked it to Prime real quick, Q, because I know he watched wrestling longer. So, saying I was gonna get a kind of accurate answer out of him. No, and I do agree with you on that part, because the inmates can't run the asylum. And I'm not sitting there saying that Kenny Omega and the Bucks are Hogan and Nash and Hall and all the people from WCW. I'm not saying that, but however, you're a human who has an ego when you're in wrestling. Every wrestler has an ego, even from the nicest people to the worst of people. Everybody has an ego, and eventually you're gonna naturally doing it, go into business for yourself. And I'm like, that right there, it really can't be. He needs to have somebody that's retired, knows what they're doing, because just like I said, you getting different kinds of vibes from these guys. Remember they talked about the whole backstage talent meeting where the Young Bucks was more open about, hey, come to us, but Kenny was giving them like the harsh love and shit. They're like, what the fuck wrong with you? And it's just like, everybody don't respond the same way to certain things like you want them to. That's why you got to have other people in place to try to take this thing over. Because right now, the honeymoon phase for AEW is over. It's over. Now it's getting to the business side, because now I'm pretty sure when AEW first started up, nobody expected a couple things. One, Cody to leave like he did.
Mm-hmm.
Two, Vince McMahon stepping down. Those two things alone rocked AEW. They have not been the same since. They have not been the same since. Because they are riding high to the point where they feel as though that they could mess up because they were the alternative, because everybody just hates WWE that much. You don't ever want to be the company that people fall to because they just hate something else that bad. Because eventually, they ain't going to hate it forever. Or the people that do hate it is going to leave. You want people to genuinely love your company for what it is. And you build on that. He needs to get his house in order, especially because right now, they all, business-wise, they all should be stripped. Trios titles, because even if CM Punk threw the first person, he's wrong. But yet, they were still back there ready to cause a confrontation. So, nobody's right in this situation. And you have to set an example for people back there, like, no, this cannot happen again. There's sometimes Vince did punishments that was just like, damn, that was kind of harsh. But then once again, it's like, yo, I'm setting an example. I'm taking this boy out to the woodshed because we're not gonna do this shit again. Whether it's burying them on TV, whether it's firing them, whether it's whatever. They off TV for 11 months. Shit.
Yeah, honestly, I would honestly really strip all of them and suspend them Don't know if Tony Khan is going to actually do it or if he's just looking for more information before he does it. But he has to do something because there's no way Eddie Kingston just swung at somebody and he got suspended for 2 weeks. But yeah, these are your higher people in charge, your world champion, your EVPs, and it just nothing happens. So.
Yeah, and if they don't see, and if your coworkers or your employees or your wrestlers, whatever you want to say, doesn't see any action being taken towards the higher ups, then we got the same problem in this company. And then when people are like, you know what, I want my release, I want to go because I want to go back to Papa H. That's how this stuff is going to work. But my biggest fear is he don't want to do nothing because Arthur Ashe is literally in 3 weeks. And just like any other wrestling business, he wants to sell that out. He wants to have his biggest stars from CM Punk to Kenny Omega to the Young Bucks. He wants to have his biggest stars out there in that stadium show for 20,000 seats. But as of right now, in my personal opinion, you need to pull events and be like, I'm sorry I keep saying this motherfucker's name, but I'm saying, but you got to pull him and be like, fuck the fans right now. You got to do what's right.
I mean, honestly, if I'm Tony Khan, I heard somebody say they should try to make it out of an angle because they'll make money since everybody's interested in. But I'm like, you still got to suspend them and take away the titles. So you keep talking about the Arthur Ashe show. If I was Tony Khan, I would just crown new champs at that show.
I mean, I agree with you. That's what I'm saying. Because sometimes I think he's worried about the fan backlash from canceling, from suspending them because
the fans know what happened, so it should be no surprise.
You said what?
To be honest, the fans know what happened, so it should be no surprise. To be honest,
no, but
everybody that knows AEW, and they obviously, well, not everybody, but I'm saying these people have heard about the altercation, so they know something happened. So if the title gets suspended, it should be no surprise of why it's getting suspended.
No, it won't be no surprise, but the fan backlash will be because, like I said, a lot of the fans over at AEW also look at that as just a WWE alternative, and they want to look at Tony Khan as better than Vince, to the point where it's just like, all right, he can get his house in order, but why would you suspend somebody? Because you're going to get those kind of stuff, and he's going to read that, unfortunately. Why would you suspend CM Punk? It wasn't his fault, he was right. Or why would you suspend the Bucks because they was right? And then you are like, I was listening to a brief part of Solid Monster earlier because he came on with a live stream right when this thing happened. I was like, if he's doing it, it's something serious. And he was like, you're about to really create a AEW Civil War like they did in Marvel. You're about to really create an AEW Civil War. It's like, whose side you on, Punks or the Elite? And then you do not want to have your locker room divided that way because they're going to start bringing up other shit that has nothing to do with this to justify their point. Because that's what everybody does. And then when they start doing that, as people start picking it and going to sides, and it's like, and then how do you get the house in order? How are people going to work together? How are people going to trust each other to work with them? You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, Q, you were about to say something about a couple minutes ago. And then you kind of got lost in the conversation. Were you about to say something or give your point to this?
No, I was just going to give a point. I was about to say, like, y'all taking my points. I was about to say, like, dividing up the house like this is not good. And I can imagine, like, this is going to be a real blow to the morale of the superstars as well. I don't know, man. Tony gotta grab his dick one time and put it on the table. Do something, bro.
Yeah, you gotta be the boss. Because first of all, ain't no time to be a nice guy. They using your money. So if I ain't here, this whole operation stop.